G'day everyone. In these short videos we're going to look at some approaches to animation in Figma. We're going to start off pretty simple. We're going to create this bowl of fruit situation. And on click we're going to get that bowl of fruit or those fruit items to land in that bowl. So let's build that very quickly. I'm going to create a new page over here and I'm going to call it animation. And I'm going to start by creating a frame. And I'll give that frame a background color. And just improvising, it's going to be a light blue. And I'll call it fruit 1. That's good. Now let's make some fruit. I'm going to use some simple drawing tools. We'll need to make an apple. Our lemon's going to be something like that, an orange. Let's colour some of these. Just using our fill colours at the moment, but I might actually add a gradient to these in a second. Okay, looking good. Let's turn those into gradients. Just for the hell of it. Okay, now finally we're going to make a banana, and I thought I'd make that out of a line. I'm going to double click into that and grab the bend tool, and then we might go over to the drawing space. I find this quite cool, and I'm going to select this stroke shape and create a thicker version of it, so it's got that kind of taper, which I think is quite cool. And then I'll click out of there and go back to our normal workspace. Under object, we should be able to find a outline stroke option. That's going to turn that into a shape that I can then turn into a kind of banana colour. Now these three items we're going to add a very subtle effect to. Just changing that drop shadow to something kind of fluffier. And that's going to just mean that those objects are we have 2 apples. Alright, now let's make our bowl. We will start by making the bowl with an ellipse, and I'm going to cut a shape out of that using the Boolean operators. A bit deeper. So I'm going to select those two, we'll come up to the Boolean operators up here and we'll subtract. And then we're going to add a bit of a kind of a base to that, make sure they're aligned, and we'll union those together. So that's going to be my bowl, and I might give that a blue colour. And again, why don't we give it some volume with a gradient. Alright, so there's our starting point, and we want these fruit to land in the bowl. So I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to create another arrangement over here where the objects are in the bowl. Something like that. I might just arrange them a bit differently. Like so. So that's looking quite good. All right, now here comes the animation part. We're going to, once we click on this frame here, that's going to be our trigger. We're going to have those items drop into the bowl. So we'll move over to the prototype panel over here, and we're going to start creating some interactions. So I'm going to drag from this frame over to this frame over here, and that's going to create an interaction. We'll leave it as an on tap, so when our user taps on that screen, it is going to navigate to this next frame, fruit 2, it's being called. And we're going to do that with the smart animate function, and hopefully that's going to create the in-between frames between these two keyframes. So we're going to smart animate, and we're going to, I think we'll use the bouncy option. How about we actually look at the custom spring? That's going to give us a little graph of the easing situation here, and you can see it's going to bounce back out and kind of wobble into position. And let's test that. So we've got our flow point here. Test that in our simulator, and I'm going to click on the screen, and those items are going to drop into the bowl. Let's customize that a little bit. Now I think it's going a little fast. We might slow that down a little bit, and we can adjust the bounciness of our graph here. Let's try that. So that's looking great. That's our first animation. A bowl of fruit triggered with a tap and including a customized ease in at the end of the animation.